Hey you guys, well, welcome to another video. Glad that you guys can join me today. It is a beautiful day out here in sunny Arizona. We are finally in our cooler months, which just makes the experience out here just all the more beautiful. And I tell you, Arizona is just really a beautiful state, man. It just really is. And if you can get past the heat, man, you'll be fine. But anyway, so today I noticed I have been noticing a bit of uptick, if you will, of people on social media. I've seen this on Twitter and I also see it on TikTok of people pushing back on the amount of folks who are renouncing their fraternities and sororities. And this has been an ongoing thing. It's been going on for years. And typically, the people that are doing it are people who are found themselves, they're in Christianity and they begin to do a little bit of reading and they begin to find out, oh my goodness, these fraternities and sororities, I do recall during our swearing in ceremonies, calling on these various deities and things like that. And if you follow this platform here, our channel, we have quite extensively have talked about that for years. I mean, we've been talking about that for years. But as you know, this channel is called Samba Journeys, meaning that we're on our own journey. And we have, there are certain things that, ideologies that we have evolved on. And, and there are other things that we're still learning about. So in this video today, if you think this video is going to go to telling you that, hey, listen, go ahead and join a fraternity and sorority. No, it's not going to be that. Actually, it's going to be something a little bit deeper. And I hope you stick around and take a listen. Now, when it comes to religion, religion is something that people all over the world take very seriously. I mean, this is not anything new at all. I mean, take a look at Catholics, for example. Catholics, they take their Mass, Saturday Mass, very seriously. They take going to visit the priest, to do their confessionals very seriously. Just doing all the things that Catholics do. There's various degrees of it, but you'll find many Catholics who do take their belief system extremely seriously. We can also look at people who practice Judaism. And when it comes to people who practice Judaism, well, it's the same thing. I mean, they take going to their Sabbath meetings very seriously, going to synagogue, making sure that they're talking to their priests. They do likewise take their belief systems extremely seriously. But when it comes to Black Americans, it's a little bit different. And the reason why I say this is a little bit different, because unlike the other groups, for Black Americans, the religion that most Black Americans hold on to is one that is not theirs. It didn't originate from Black people. It didn't originate from Africa. And when I say Africa, I'm talking those that came through the transatlantic slave trade, the whole nine. Of course, we know that Christianity itself, the birthplace of it, it came out of Egypt and in that region. But when it comes to Christianity as it was presented to us, well, that wasn't necessarily a homemade brew. That was something that we adopted from the very people that enslaved us. Well, why is this important? Well, it's important because, with Christianity, it's mostly a European-based belief system. When we talk about Judaism, for example, well, that's a Jewish-based belief system. So it's understandable that these two groups of people will go all out when it comes to adhering to the tenets and the commandments and the belief systems of their chosen faiths. But when it comes to Black folks, however, when you sit back and you think about it, we as Black Americans have a long history of carrying that same amount of tenacity in defending and supporting belief systems that, quite honestly, never originated from us in the first place. So there are about two groups that I really want to focus on when we're talking about what we're talking about here within Black American culture, and that is people who are in the church, and then you also have your fraternity and sororities, right? So when we look at Christian organizations, when we look at churches, for example, within Black culture, what you're going to find is a long history of churches, of course, working together, supporting one another, and all that kind of stuff. But we also have a long history of churches fighting against each other, creating rules and regulations. If you don't follow, the rules of this church, or if you don't do this or don't do that or whatever, you're going to fall out of favor with, with this organization. In fact, God himself is not going to be pleased with you if you're not giving in your tithes and offerings, all that kind of stuff, right? And so it can be a very strict type of organization that the church, it operates as, and to the point where family members are oftentimes separated, cut apart, cut off. Friends are made into enemies, the whole nine. You'll see a lot of this within the church system. Now, the other group that I want to point out is fraternities and sororities. Now, I think this is a very important group to bring out, because they're not just fraternities and sororities. These are Greek letter organizations. In other words, they adhere to the heavy influences of Greek culture, not African culture, not necessarily Black American culture, but Greek culture. I mean, to the point where they will literally beat each other up. They will burn each other's skin. They will create their own separate classes of people to separate themselves from the greater Black population. This is how far they go, but they will literally go to these nth degrees to separate themselves, all in the name of a culture that's not even theirs. I'm sorry, I gotta get out of here. These mosquitoes out here have been tearing me up. So let's take this conversation to the car. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I had to get out of there because, we've had a lot of rain out here in Arizona, which has brought ungodly amount of mosquitoes out here. I have never seen this many mosquitoes out here before, but whatever. And I'm from the East Coast, and and have lived down south, the whole nine. But that still doesn't make me like mosquitoes anymore. So anyway, back to the video. So has anybody ever stopped to really think about that? I mean, really, I want you to think about that. What I just said, just for a moment here. We literally have Black folks that are out here that are, because I want to say this again and make sure you get this, that are literally beating each other up, right? With the whole hazing thing, right? You also have numbers of Black folks who will brand each other with a hot iron, okay, to do this kind of stuff, to be a part of Greek culture, not Black American culture, not African culture, Greek culture, okay? You got Black folks who will separate themselves. They will create a separate class so that they can separate themselves from other Black people that they think that are beneath them. They do this in the name of Greek culture, okay? I'm not finished yet. But then it gets even darker than that. How many stories have we seen of Black individuals literally losing their lives and dying for what? Greek culture.
One of the things that we as believers need to do is understand the fundamentals. When you understand the fundamentals, then it helps you to make better theological decisions outside of feelings. Now, am I saying those who you feel like God wants you to denounce your fraternity or sorority, that you should re-engage, you follow the Lord. If you believe God, if God tells me now, leave it alone and don't bother with it for whatever reason, I don't have to know the details. If God said don't do it, don't do it.
But God.
But God gave me the freedom after I matured to re-engage. So I love my brothers in Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. I love Easy Rock, Epsilon Sigma chapter at Bowie State University. Sorry when we get a homecoming this weekend, bookstore stuff. But I'm saying I love them. And one of the things that's dope about my relationship with the brothers is they ask me questions. I've led brothers to Christ, and I've also, they shooting me questions, and I'm engaging brothers who don't believe in the gospel, and that has been great common ground for me in my walk.
So this is something that should really make us think here for a second. I mean, why is it that we go this far out to this degree to fight for a belief system, to defend a belief system that isn't even ours? You know, as I brought out in the beginning of this video, we talked about how, you know, between Jews or, you know, people who are Eurocentric based, who fight very, you know, just with such tenacity to defend their belief systems. And it makes perfect sense because that's their belief systems. But for Black Americans, you know, to have that same type of tenacity for systems that aren't even ours in the first place, I think that's the bigger question here. I honestly think this is the bigger question that we should be paying attention to. You know, I think this is a call to actually look at these things much deeper. Yes, it is true that, you know, these fraternities and sororities, for example, they do have their deities, Greek-based deities that they swear allegiance to. But when you look deeper at the Bible itself, I mean, when you look at Yah, who is Yah, Yahuwah, Yahweh, that is Canaanite. That's not Black American. That's not Black folks. That's Canaanite. You know, so again, you have Black folks who are fighting for the gods of other cultures that have never done a doggone thing for us at all. So if there's going to be any kind of renouncing that takes place, don't just renounce the gods. Renounce the fact that you are going to this nth degree to basically to align yourself with cultures that aren't even yours in the first place.